There was a time when taking a picture was an act of faith. You'd point your camera, press the shutter, and then wait. Days. Sometimes weeks. You couldn't see what you had captured, not until the film was developed by someone else. Somewhere else. That delay wasn't just a technical limitation. It was part of the design. Kodak, the company that defined the 20th century's visual memory, didn't just sell cameras and film. It sold anticipation, suspense, a ritual built on patience and curiosity. But here's the question no one asked back then. Why didn't Kodak want you to see your photos right away? What did they gain from your waiting? And what did we, as a society, lose when instant gratification finally killed that waiting game? Every photo once had a heartbeat, a gap between the moment it was taken and the moment it was revealed. That gap was where emotion lived. Parents feared blurry birthday shots. Newlyweds prayed their wedding photos hadn't been ruined. Soldiers hoped their roles survived the battlefield. Behind every roll of Kodak film was a small psychological trap, one that turned customers into loyal believers. And it worked. For nearly a century, the company made you need that suspense. Because suspense sells. And as we dive deep into this story, we'll uncover how a marketing genius disguised itself as nostalgia, how patience was manufactured for profit, and how one company taught the world to wait. But before we go on, if you love discovering the real stories behind history's biggest inventions, subscribe to History Backstage, leave your like, comment your thoughts, and share this video. Because what's coming next will make you see every old photo in a very different light. In the early 20th century, photography wasn't just an art form, it was a revolution. Before Kodak, taking a picture was a technical ordeal. You needed bulky equipment, fragile glass plates, and chemical know-how. But when George Eastman founded Kodak in 1888, he changed everything. His slogan, "You press the button, we do the rest," was more than advertising. It was a declaration of control. Kodak didn't just simplify photography, it centralized it. Every picture had to come back to Kodak for development. The company turned a simple moment of capture into a multi-step dependency, one that guaranteed repeat business. People weren't just buying film, they were buying into a system of waiting, a cycle of suspense engineered for profit. By the 1950s, Kodak wasn't just a company, it was a cultural institution. It shaped how America remembered itself: birthdays, graduations, wars, and Christmas mornings. Every photo you saw in an album, every memory sealed in glossy paper, was a product of Kodak's monopoly on emotion. At its peak, the company controlled nearly 90% of the US film market. Think about that. 9 out of 10 photos in the average American home came from one corporation. Kodak's colors defined what happiness looked like. Its branding dictated what nostalgia felt like. But behind the smiles and the yellow boxes, there was a deeper truth. Kodak didn't sell memories. It sold the illusion of control over time. The process was deliberate. You couldn't develop your own film easily, not without specialized tools, chemicals, and training. That meant you had to hand over your most personal moments to a stranger behind a photo counter. Families trusted Kodak with their weddings, their vacations, even their grief. That dependency wasn't accidental. It was cultivated. The longer you waited, the more you cared. The more uncertain you were, the more invested you became in the outcome. This wasn't just about photography. It was behavioral conditioning, a corporate ritual disguised as a family tradition. Meanwhile, the world was changing. Television, advertising, and consumer psychology were merging into one powerful force. America was learning to crave, to consume, to wait, and to repeat. Kodak's model fit perfectly into that new rhythm. Every undeveloped roll of film sitting in a kitchen drawer was silent proof of corporate genius. People didn't even realize they were paying to be patient. They thought they were paying to remember. And that's exactly what Kodak wanted. Because the moment people stopped waiting, the magic and the money would disappear. By the 1980s, instant cameras like Polaroid began to challenge that ritual. They promised freedom. No labs, no waiting, no middlemen. For the first time, the consumer could see instantly what they had captured. Kodak panicked. Their empire wasn't built to deliver satisfaction. It was built to delay it. The company fought back, tried to mimic instant photography, even sued competitors. But deep down, they knew. Their entire identity depended on one thing: controlling the emotional gap between the moment and the memory. That's the context. That's the stage. And now, it's time to uncover how Kodak engineered patience into profit. Kodak's power wasn't just in its technology, it was in its psychology. The company understood something profound. People value what they wait for. Every roll of film turned into a small emotional investment. When customers dropped off their film at a Kodak lab or local pharmacy, they weren't just buying a product. They were entering a ritual of uncertainty and anticipation. That waiting period, the days between taking a picture and seeing it, created attachment. The longer the delay, the stronger the emotional connection. Kodak scientists even studied human behavior to find the sweet spot of suspense. They discovered that anticipation wasn't a flaw in the process. It was the product itself. This was marketing genius disguised as limitation. Kodak built its empire by controlling every step of the photographic journey. From the film rolls you loaded to the chemicals used in processing, everything passed through Kodak's hands. Even the paper used to print photos carried the company's hidden signature. By making the system closed and proprietary, they turned photography into a subscription model before the concept even existed. You couldn't just take pictures. You had to keep buying film, paying for development, and returning to the same brand over and over again. Kodak didn't sell photography. It sold dependence wrapped in the illusion of choice. Their ads told a story of happiness. Kodak Moments. A father smiling at his daughter's birthday cake. A soldier returning home. A mother holding her newborn. These weren't just ads. They were cultural conditioning. The message was clear. If your life wasn't being photographed, it wasn't really happening. Kodak linked identity with imagery, emotion with consumption. But here's the twist. You never saw those emotions instantly. You had to trust the process, wait for the reveal, and hope the moment was captured correctly. In other words, Kodak turned patience into profit and suspense into loyalty. The waiting wasn't only psychological, it was physical. Film development required precision, and Kodak made sure consumers believed only professionals could do it right. Behind the scenes, they standardized the entire chemical process, patented every step, and trained technicians worldwide to keep results consistent. Whether you developed your film in Ohio or Tokyo, the colors, contrast, and warmth were unmistakably Kodak. This consistency built trust, but also control. You couldn't reproduce that look without them. It was as if Kodak owned the emotional tone of your memories. And yet this mechanism had a darker side. Every photo you took, every private moment, passed through the hands of strangers. Lab workers saw your family, your parties, your secrets. Privacy was the price of nostalgia. Kodak created a world where our most intimate experiences became commodities, processed and sold back to us as prints. They taught us to outsource memory, and we loved them for it. But as the world edged toward the digital age, that model would begin to crumble. Because once technology gave people the power to see instantly, Kodak's entire psychological machine would start to collapse. When digital cameras arrived, they didn't just change technology, they shattered an entire psychology. For decades, Kodak had conditioned people to believe that waiting was part of the magic. But when consumers suddenly saw their photos instantly on tiny LCD screens, that magic vanished. What used to feel sacred began to feel outdated. Kodak's business model, built on suspense and ritual, became obsolete overnight. The emotional journey they had engineered collapsed into a single click. No more uncertainty, no more buildup, just instant validation. And in that moment, Kodak's empire began to crumble. Not because people stopped taking pictures, but because they stopped needing permission to see them. The irony is brutal. Kodak invented the digital camera in 1975. One of its own engineers, Steve Sasson, created the first working prototype. But the executives rejected it. They feared it would cannibalize film sales. They didn't understand that the future wasn't about photos. It was about control. And when they lost control of the waiting, they lost control of the market. By 2012, the same company that once defined memory filed for bankruptcy. Their iconic yellow logo, once a symbol of trust, now stood for failure to adapt. It wasn't technology that killed Kodak. It was psychology. They built a world addicted to patience in an age that was about to worship speed. But beyond the business collapse, something deeper was lost. The ritual of waiting gave meaning to the moment. Each photo carried tension, curiosity, and weight. When we finally held those glossy prints, they mattered. Today we take thousands of pictures that mean nothing. We delete memories the same day we create them. The patience that Kodak once monetized has vanished from our culture, and with it, a piece of emotional depth. The shift from film to digital wasn't just technological, it was spiritual. We traded anticipation for immediacy, emotion for efficiency. Socially, the change was seismic. Kodak's era forced families to gather, to flip through albums, relive birthdays, share laughter. Now photos live in the cloud, unseen and unloved. The communal experience became solitary. The photo album turned into a feed. Nostalgia itself became fragmented, algorithmic, and disposable. The very company that taught the world to remember ended up teaching it to forget faster. Kodak's downfall wasn't just the end of a corporation. It was the end of a shared way of remembering. And yet, the story isn't entirely tragic. Kodak's legacy still lingers in the hearts of those who lived through it. For some, the smell of developed film or the sound of a camera winding still carries warmth. For others, it's a reminder of how easily we let corporations define emotion. The company that once made the world wait for beauty ultimately became a warning that even the most powerful rituals can die when convenience becomes king. What was once patience became a product, and once that product lost its buyers, an entire chapter of human experience went dark. So why didn't Kodak want you to see your photos immediately? Because waiting was power. It wasn't about film or chemistry. It was about psychology. Kodak mastered the art of controlling time. It made anticipation addictive, uncertainty profitable, and patience a product. For decades, it convinced the world that the delay between clicking the shutter and seeing the result was part of the beauty. And for a time, it really was. But when the world learned to live without waiting, the illusion crumbled. Kodak not only lost market share, it lost its allure over human emotions. The ritual disappeared, and with it, an empire built on suspense. In a way, Kodak's story is our story. We created technology to make life easier, faster, and more connected. And in doing so, we eliminated the space between the now and the memory. We no longer wait to see. We scroll, we swipe, we consume. The patience that once made moments precious has been replaced by the craving for instant validation. But perhaps deep down, that's why nostalgia hits us so hard these days. We miss the waiting. We miss the imperfections. We miss the thrill of not knowing. The very slowness we've escaped now seems like something sacred we've left behind. And that's why understanding the past is important. Because every innovation has a hidden price. The story of Kodak isn't just about photography. It's about the psychology of progress itself. If you want to continue discovering the untold truths behind the events, inventions, and corporations that shaped our world, subscribe to History Backstage, like and share this video, and let's continue exposing what really happened behind the curtain of history. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and until the next video.